baby hot, don't speak to any moment. Product of her environment, shout out the global woman. Can't box her in with any trend, no, she's a global woman. Call Fire Marshal Bill, like, let me tell you something. Flawless, beautiful, follow codes down to her toes. Cuticles, picking rolls with the flow, slam dunking all the goals. Silvers for the novice and golds for the pros.
What's going on, everybody out there in TV land, on YouTube and on Facebook Live? We come to you tonight to interrupt your regular scheduled program. Hey, y'all, we got a banger tonight. The mic is hot. The phone lines are open. The panels like they ready. We about to get into this thing. But hey, Facebook, y'all know we talk about this every single week. Go to YouTube. Type in the search bar, Nutz, N-U-T-Z, and the and sign, Boltz, B-O-L-T-Z, of life, and watch us live on YouTube. Hey, YouTube, don't forget to click that like button. It's the thumbs up. Then slide your finger on over and press the subscribe. And don't forget to click the all so you get all of the notifications when we're going live or dropping new content. Lastly, share. You might ask, share this video to where? Well, most of us have Facebook, so that's where you can share it to, or anywhere you desire. Yes. We need you guys to right now, everybody's watching, take 10 seconds and just click the like button. I promise you, it don't cost you no money. It is absolutely free. So click the like button right now and make sure you share this message. Also, we're doing something new. Every time we hit the 200 milestone mark with subscribers, we're going to the chat and find 1 or 2 people and send them a gift. But you must be a subscriber to participate. Or it might be a random. Obi did a random a couple of weeks ago. Sometimes it might be random, but make sure you subscribe. All right, guys? Lastly, check out this video about my Stop Playing Apparel company. Stop Playing was created to motivate, inspire, uplift, and inform individuals about viewing life through an alternate lens. No two individuals travel the same road or embark on the same journey. Yet obstacles are faced by all. Despite the challenge, if you believe it, you can achieve it. By purchasing a shirt, you can be part of motivating and inspiring someone to achieve greatness. Come join the movement at stopplaying.net. Yes, come join the powerful movement at stopplaying.net. It's pinned right in the chat section. Check out my apparel company. And last but not least, if you like what we're doing and you just simply want to donate to us, there's a QR code right on the screen. All monetary gifts are appreciated, and we accept your gifts and thank you in advance for your gifts. But I understand that you might not be able to scan the QR code. So there's a cash tag right on the bottom of the screen. The cash tag is $Nutz, N-U-T-Z, Boltz, B-O-L-T-Z 1. Again, it's $Nutz, Boltz 1. And with that being said, welcome to Nutz and Boltz of Life. My name is Edmund Chapman. I'm the CEO of Stop Playing Apparel, and I reside now in South Carolina.
My name is Kyra from California.
And I'm Obi with No Clothing Line from Charlotte.
And I'm Sharika from Ohio, but I live in Florida.
Welcome. Oh, man. Well, you got a lot of claps for that. They're going crazy over there in the crowd. Welcome, everybody. So y'all know how we do it every week. We always start off with Ed's story time. That producer, she own it tonight. Yes. What the snap said, Kyra. She own it. All right. So tonight's story time, if y'all have not heard about it already, I'm pretty sure, unless you live under a rock, Shannon Sharp had an audio. I don't know if y'all heard, so I'll give y'all a little brief of what happened. Had an audio of him having sex. So what happened was he accidentally clicked on Instagram and then went to his Instagram live, and the whole world heard him engaging in intercourse. Now, I can't confirm or deny it. He said it was an accident. I don't know. That ain't my business. But my story time is I'm tired of seeing people hate on this black man, and it'd be our own people that be hating on him. Like it started off with the Cat Williams. People was mad, like, why you let Cat Williams say all this stuff? And then it's saying people saying he gay. That might be the reason why he did it. They call him gay, and they just hating on all the success God has been blessing him with. And he is a so far I see. I don't know, Opie, what you think, but he's a great stand-up guy. I never seen him being a mess from his football days to his days now. And this is people to be hating on him all the time and always be talking trash about him. So I just want to say, hey guys, instead of tearing people down, Shannon Sharp or anybody else in our community, how about we start lifting them up? How about we start celebrating the wins that they're achieving, their goals they're getting. The club Shay Shay is doing really, really well. The nightcap when Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco is doing really well. He's doing good, and he always putting God first. He always so humble. Like I said, I don't know about the Instagram thing, but everything else, he's always at high standard. So I think as a people, we need to start lifting our people up more and study tearing someone down and just trying to destroy their characters. All right. So that is a story time for tonight. And Shannon Sharp and your team, you ever see this? Nutz and Boltz would love to have you come and sit on our panel, you or Ocho Cinco. So shout out to you, sir, and keep doing what you're doing. Proud of you. Obi, you look at everybody say something. Obi, what you want to say?
Hey, I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say because you just invited me to come on the show. So. My lips are sealed. My lips are sealed.
What are you about to say? Go ahead.
Me personally, just my personal opinion, I think this was a purposeful slip. I think he leaked that intentionally, just to get a reaction from whomever, to get more, followers, to get more sponsors or whatever. Again, that's my personal opinion. Hey, I love to see Black people obtain stuff. I love to see us win. But I know sometimes we can cheat the system to get what we want. And I just think that this was the time that he did that. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But I don't know.
Kyrie, like you about to say something. You got something to say to the story time, Kyrie, before we go to the extra subject tonight?
And Sharika, like he got something to say too.
I'm not a social media guru, but in my opinion, I think it takes a lot to actually go live and have something record and to continuously record. And I heard about it. I haven't heard the recording. I will say that I think that sometimes people go through extreme measures to try to prove that something is or isn't true. And I don't know. I just feel like it's a violation for the person who was engaging in whatever act with him.
What about the other part of the story time? They ask Sharika, they're gonna move on to the topic. The other part of it, like when people get mad at him about the Cat Williams stuff, people calling him gay, people, and there'd be other Black people, other Black podcasts that's be so mad at him for all the accolades he's getting. So that was really my point of the story time, is use that to tie into like why did like everybody that's hating on this man so bad. Even Skip Bayless was like hating on him, so it's like that was really the objective of the story time,
I think that when people are successful, then someone's always going to have something to say, whether it's positive or negative. And with how social media is, a person in the spotlight like that just needs to prepare themselves to be able to deal with it. I don't watch a show like that. I may have watched like one or two clips. But I do agree with lifting people up. I also agree with calling people out when they do something that isn't right.
Sharika, anything to add before we go to the topic of tonight?
I honestly think it was a mistake. Because did you hear it?
I did.
Yeah, I don't. That has to be a mistake. I think it has to be a mistake. I mean, because he was risking too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, he really could have got in trouble for that, but of course, he didn't. But he really could have got in trouble as far as like, maybe they would some of his oh darn it, sponsorships would have been gone. I think that was an honest mistake. And people do make mistakes, and I feel like that was honestly a mistake.
Thank you. And that's a good segue, because if you like to Nutz and Boltz to sponsor you guys and you want to advertise your business, Hey, this hits Tashina Nicole up on Facebook or hit Edmund Chapman, or you can go to eddieed.30@gmail.com if you'd like for us to advertise your business. You got a business you want us to advertise? Because we look for sponsors and we look to promote people's businesses. So make sure you hit us up and we will promote it right on the Nutz and Boltz show. Thank you, Sharika. That's a good segue in there. Hey, Obi, what's tonight's topic about?
Tonight's topic is a good one, man. What are you stand for? Like we thought about this topic a couple of weeks ago. Just knowing some people who are doing that, but why are you staying in a situation you should be in? So let's kind of talk about it and see what the people think about it.
So we want to get some. We also try to get some like context to what we're talking about. And Kyra, she speaks with such great diction. Kyra, can you help the people out so they know exactly where we going with this? Y'all know I'm silly.
Yes. So we're basically talking about toxic and unhealthy relationships, and a lot of people stay in them for various reasons. Sometimes it could be emotional, sometimes it could be psychological, and other times there are other factors that play in to a person staying. And so we're just going to kind of analyze and have a discussion on why people stay in unhealthy and toxic relationships.
That's good. So, chat, we need y'all to join us tonight. Chat, we're gonna come to chat a lot tonight. We're gonna get into this thing. So, have anybody on this panel been in a relationship, a toxic, or in a relationship? You like, why am I here, or why was I even in that relationship? I could say I honestly was. Anybody else?
Mm-hmm.
All of us. Okay, all right. Everybody was in there. So, Obi, I'm gonna be a gentleman tonight, Obi. And I'm gonna throw it to Kyra and let her ask the first question to the panel and the people in the chat.
All right. So the first question is just why, in your opinion, have you stayed, or do you think that people stay in these types of relationships? Why have you stayed, or do you think? Because I know y'all have. Well, I have friends and family members, and we'll have conversations, and it's like 2 years have gone by or 6 months have gone by, and the complaint is still the same, and the person's actions haven't changed. And I know that the person is worth so much more, but they choose to stay. I know that somebody knows somebody or has a friend or might be that friend. So tell us what y'all think. Why do people stay, or why did you stay?
I'll go first.
I'll go after you. Go ahead.
For me, I didn't know it was toxic until I got out of it. As a guy, you kind of want a significant other with a slight edge to them. You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure that they're balanced. They go to church and do all of that, but you want somebody with just a little edge. But I was in a couple of situations where the edge was bigger than the risk of the investment, and during those times, I didn't know that I shouldn't be in them. I was in it for my own personal reasons, whether it was sex, companionship, a little bit of chemistry, and you don't know that it's toxic until you get out of it, and you start looking back at the things that you should have paid more attention to, the people that you should have listened to. You should have listened to her more than you listened to yourself. So for me, my answer would be it was because of personal gratification.
Okay.
Sharika, you want to dive into this question? You got anything for us?
I feel like people stay in toxic relationships because they don't know any better. That's what I feel like. I feel like, like if you've always been yelled at, or you've always been like the women that get beaten, they think it's normal. Some people think that's normal. Some people think it's normal to go off and start cussing you out if they get upset. You know what I'm saying? Some women think that it's normal, or men think that it's normal to beat you. You know what I'm saying? That's not normal. But if that's what you're used to, then that's what, you allow. Some people don't know any better. Let me just say that. Some people don't know any better. If you've never been in love where, everything was right, or you've never been in love to where, someone treats you well, then if somebody treats you bad, you think that's normal. And I say that because I lived in a small town, and I know like small town life is totally different. And then so I thought that it was okay if your guy cheats on you. It's okay, you know, but it's not normal. That's not normal if somebody really loves you. You know, I always felt like, well, if you're not married, then you're single, which that really is true, but you still have to respect the person that you're with, you know? So I just feel like if you don't know any better and then that's what you're used to, it's normal for you.
Nice.
Well, I guess.
Then. Go ahead.
Oh, you want to go, Kyra? You can go ahead. I'll go last. If you want me to go.
Okay. For me, I was in a toxic relationship and I stayed for two primary reasons. The first reason was because I thought that I could change him by like praying for him or going to church or um, saying what I wanted, or not necessarily making demands, but making requests of what things I would like to see. And so as I got older, I realized like you cannot change anyone. God can change people, but you don't have the ability to change a person into who they are. And I've also learned to accept the person for where they are, for who they are and where they are, and not expect anything else from them because that's how you met them. And you can't have unrealistic expectations for someone to go from A to Z if they're not even interested in doing that. And then, secondly, I say because I had a child with this person and I grew up without my dad in the home. And I did not want that for my son. I wanted him to have that father figure that he got to see every day, every morning, every night, and just continue to kind of accept unacceptable things. And until the point where it just got to be too much because kids know and feel what's happening in the household, even though you try and keep it from them. So those were my primary two reasons for staying.
Interesting. So I want to ask you a question, Kyra. So you thought it'd be more healthier for you to stay just because of the kid? And do a lot of women think that, Sharika and Kyra?
Not necessarily healthier for me to stay, but I wanted to give that to my son, to have like a mom and dad that were at his sports events, that were going to back to school night, that he got to see and say goodnight to every night, because I did not have the opportunity to have that anytime. I never lived with my mom and dad. They were never together. I never lived with my dad. And just the importance of having that male. I know that a woman can't teach a man how to be a man. And so being able to have his dad in the house was so important to me. Um, but it was so important that I was ignoring other things that played high, that kind of had more, can't think of the word that I'm looking for, but that was more impactful than not staying in the same house. And I
Interesting.
do think that a lot of women have those same thoughts and kind of think like, oh, well, we're together, or he comes home to me every night, or different things like that, even though he might be cheating during the daytime or when you're out of town and different things like that. So I do think that some women do have those thoughts. Sharika, what are your thoughts?
I feel like if you have to sit up there and argue with your person and the kids see that, the kids don't want to see that. You know what I mean? I would much rather, because I grew up without my father. And then like sometimes I feel like God removes people away from you, takes people away from you that's not good for you, you know? And so I never ever really like dwelled on, I didn't have my father, but I always had my grandfather there. So it was always like, you know, I always had that male figure. But like as far as like me, if like when I was with my child's father, we would argue. It was never really physical, but it was more like we was always arguing, and the kids didn't like that. So like for a minute, my grandson didn't even like you know, his grandfather, because when we got together, you know, we were always arguing, and they know that we don't do that. We never really did that in our house. You know what I'm saying? It was never really like any confrontations or anything like that. So that was like new to them. So they didn't like that. So I feel like if it's not right, if you're showing the kids like the bad parts, you know, as far as arguing and being mean and all that crazy stuff, then I would rather to be by myself. or find somebody that can provide my kids with, stability, like to be normal, just a normal relationship. It doesn't always have to be like, of course, it's like the idea for the mother and father to be together. But if you're always arguing and always being crazy, there's no sense in that. It would be better, because the kids don't want to see that. The kids get nervous, the kids get scared, because I know that's the way my kids felt, because, they were not used to that. And then when we would come around, we would argue, it'd be like, what the heck is going on? This is not my mom. This is not my grandma. You know what I'm saying? So if you have to show the kids like the negative side of the relationship, then just let it go, I mean, because I don't want my daughter to be with somebody that's just always gonna try to talk down to her or anything like that. And I know that they wasn't used to that. So as far as like, just being with the person just because that's the way it should be, that would be good, but it's not healthy. It's not healthy for the kids. It's not healthy for the relationship. It's not healthy for anyone. So that's the way I feel. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. You know what I'm saying? It's only 4 of us, so we can go a little bit deeper than normal with a bigger panel. So I think my reason is different from everybody else's reason. And again, I got to do another shout out. Shout out to Michael Todd. I don't know if y'all know Michael Todd. Y'all follow him. He's a pastor. He's a young pastor. Obi, what is he, like his early 30s, maybe, or mid 30s or something like that?
Mid to late 30s, yeah.
Mid
Awesome
late
pastor
30s.
though.
So Michael Todd had a series called Cuffing Season. And one part of his series is called Cuff to Comfort. And when I watched, after I got divorced and everything, I was watching his series one day at home, and I was like, that was me. I was cuffed to comfort, meaning I was comfortable at that house. Everything around was comfortable. Let me even break that down. So all I had to do really was go to work, bring my check home, teach the kids sports, and if they got in trouble, be the disciplinary action. That's it. My wife at the time, she handled everything else. I'm living in a whole new state. I have no family here. I have brand new friends here, so I was really comfortable there. I had to worry about paying. No, I didn't worry about if bills gonna get paid. I had to worry about going on trips. I didn't have to worry about what school kids gonna go to, what church we going to. Like I was like really just comfortable in there. And even though it was a bad environment and I should have left, I was just so comfortable there. And I'm like, well, even though it's bad, Lord, I'm gonna say you, I can stick it out. And I think later on, God told me, like, I never told you to stick that out. You chose to stick it out. You could have left because it was not healthy. But I was just so comfortable there that I didn't want to just leave. I didn't want to get up and have to start all over, have to find my own place to live, have to find a new wife, and all that stuff. So I was just really comfortable. So if y'all get a chance to watch that series, it's really good. But when he talked about cuff to comfort, that was me. I was just so comfortable in the mess that I was in, but everything else made it great, even though the relationship was bad, but I'd have to worry about nothing of it. That makes sense. Like a child, right? A child don't have to worry about nothing, but being a kid, and that's what I'm saying. With me as an adult, I only had to worry about 3 things. All y'all probably had to worry about way more. I was just comfortable and I was just chilling. So that's why I stayed, Kyra.
And I just want to hit on a point real quick that you brought up that kind of resonated with me.
Hold on, I'm sorry, Kyra, hold on one second. Hey, Facebook, y'all know what time it is. It's time to log off. So if you want to watch the rest of this episode, Kyra, about to go wax deep real quick. Click on YouTube, Nutz and Boltz of Life, and come and watch us live on YouTube. We'll talk to y'all later. And also, if you in the chat or you watching this live or you watching on the rebroadcast, click that like button right now, share and subscribe. And everybody else is watching it live. The call-in line. The call-in line is open, 704-891-9560. Always say I messed up, Obi. The call line is open, 704-891-9560. Peace out, Facebook. Go ahead, Kyra, it's on you.
So I just wanted to bring up the point of like staying in a marriage and staying in a relationship, because I think that there is a difference. I think if there is like domestic violence or abuse, whether it's physical, verbal, different things like that, abuse is abuse any way that you slice it. But to me, when you make a commitment to marry someone, that's a different level. That needs some patience, that needs some understanding, some forgiveness, acknowledgement that it's not going to be 50-50. It might be 1%, 99%. It might be negative 50% and plus 100%. And that when you are going into that marriage, that's kind of what you're signing up for, because everything isn't going to be roses and rainbows. And I think that sometimes, I've never been married, but from people that I've seen and other relationships that I have reviewed or looked at or know of, everybody isn't in for the long haul. I think, especially in today's generation, marriage is marriage for right now and not forever, because there's so many people that don't take it seriously. Not saying that some people don't take it, do not take it seriously, but a lot of people are just for that short-term gratification of things are going good. We're in the honeymoon stage, and then think when things start getting hard, then they're ready to pack up and leave, and then they haven't gotten closure from that marriage relationship, and then take it to someone else. And so um, I think there's a different overarching commitment level and expectation to stay in a relationship when it's a marriage. And that could mean counseling, that could mean prayer, it could mean talking to your pastor, it could mean a lot of different things to help salvage a marriage.
I think,
It's,
like, for me, like our grandparents, well, my grandparents, both sets of my grandparents, they probably stayed in marriages a little bit longer than they should have, because one of my grandfathers cheated, and I definitely know I couldn't stay if somebody cheated on me. Um, but marriage was different back then. You know, people actually, even if somebody messed up, they weren't gonna leave, because you took a vow, you took an oath in front of God to stay married to somebody, and regardless of what he or she did, they was gonna raise their kids, they was gonna be there for the grandkids, and they was gonna be there for the great great grandkids, you know, and they was gonna farm and pick cotton and do whatever they had to do because they married her and she married him. But like you said, Kyra, nowadays people that are a lot younger than us or a lot younger than me, they don't care about marriage. As soon as somebody sends them a text message the wrong way, they get in their feelings and they're out. They're going to stay with the girlfriends. A month later, the dude is getting divorce papers, or the chick go out and hang out, just have a girls' night with her girls, and the guy, when the girl comes back home, the guy's gone. He's going to move in with his mom and dad, and he's sending her divorce papers. So I don't think people treat marriage the way that they used to back in the day.
that's because grandma and grandpa they had their own bedrooms, so they had their alone time.
I'm gonna hit some of these comments and we're gonna move on to the next question. If you're an adult, it's your responsibility to know better. Another person said, I stayed because I wanted a companion and was hoping he would change. I knew and had experienced his good side and was hoping he would go back to being that again. Um, some people don't like boring, got to spice it up a little bit. I save numbers as I save numbers as random businesses just to feed insecurities. Why the post office calling? It keeps things interesting. And then lastly, y'all grandma stayed in a marriage because she knew that two parents are better than one, irregardless and overall all. Y'all losing because y'all oppose that ideology and and the sight quit at the sight of a problem. And I think that
Wow.
part of that last comment is true, but part of that comment is not true. If someone is being constantly disrespected, constantly assaulted, abused, different things like that, and those type of behaviors are being transferred and modeled for the kids that are growing up in that house to give them exposure to that trauma, and that's going to impact their generation and how they raise their kids and how they live, how they raise their mates. Like there's certain things that you should not stand for.
I want to get a couple of statistics from the CDC. Did y'all know that in the first year, there's over 50% of marriages in divorce? First time being married. First time being married. Second time married is 60% in the divorce. And then the third time, which I don't know who would get married 3 times, it's 73% marriages fail.
Mm.
73%. And marriages nowadays only last 8 years. And I believe that's facts
Wow.
because mine was only 6. 8 years nowadays marriages last. That is crazy. Go ahead, Kyra. Here's the next question.
That's alarming statistics. All right, next question. How does low self esteem contribute to a person's inability to leave an unhealthy relationship? How does low self esteem contribute to a person's inability to leave an unhealthy relationship? And then
Uh,
Obi.
okay. I think when they have low self esteem, they feel like they can't get nothing better. And me and Obi had a whole conversation about this a few times before we did this topic. I think a person might think that they got a great man, a great woman, and like, how did I get her or how did I get him? And so they gonna tolerate all the BS because they feel like they can't get another, maybe not even another person, period, and definitely not another one of those, him or her. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, and I'll just
Obi?
piggyback on Ed a little bit. I'll piggyback on Ed a little bit. Nobody wants to be by themselves, so they would rather stay in a shitty situation, excuse my French, than be in a situation where they by themselves. What do you think about it, Sharika?
I just think, well, I just feel like some people just don't know any better, so they're going to stay, especially if you have low self-esteem and like, oh, you're ugly, you're ugly, you're ugly. You begin to feel like that, you know what I'm saying? And you begin to, whatever negative things that the person's saying to you, you begin to believe that. And then, so it's just like, whatever, okay, I'm ugly. So I'm not, like you said, I'm not going to get anybody any better. I'm not even going to get anyone. So pretty much, I just think that, people just don't know any better, like if you don't know any better, you can't do better if you don't know any better, right?
Yeah. I think that also sometimes a person can come into a relationship with high self esteem or with not having self esteem issues. And then over time, their self esteem gets whittled, whittled down. It could be like a person, say that a person gets cheated on, and then they start thinking, oh my gosh, well, that person was prettier or that person was smarter. That must be why they cheated, and kind of start making excuses and reasons, and or their partner could be telling them things of the reason why, or could be putting them down. And so it's almost like a person can be groomed to go from having high self-esteem to having low self-esteem.
Yeah, when you say that, Cara, I think about Halle Berry. Now, I don't think she's the most beautiful person in the world, but some guys do. But she struggled with self-esteem issues when she was married to David Justice, and then she got into another relationship with another celebrity or athlete, and then she got into another relationship with an athlete. But she went through counseling, she got therapy, and now hopefully she's a better person. So, and I don't think it's just ugly people. I mean, I ain't calling nobody ugly, but I don't think it's just ugly people that
It's
struggle with
ugly people in the
self-esteem.
world. It's
I
a
think
lot of ugly
everybody
people in the
struggles with
world.
self-esteem. Huh?
What'd
It's
you
a
say,
lot of
Ed?
ugly people in the world.
But for
Everybody.
real,
That's,
the ugly people, they're the ones that can keep their man.
I don't know
Because
how. 'Cause they
and
got an
that's
ugly
another
mate.
conversation. I know
No,
how.
it's
Because they
not
got an ugly mate.
always the
Nope.
outside. It's the
They're
outside
open. They're
beautiful.
open.
So if you're beautiful inside and that flourishes out, then they see, you're beautiful. You don't have to look
Mm.
physically beautiful. Like, just to look at me, it doesn't mean like, oh my God, you're so beautiful, because I could be ugly inside. And then if I'm ugly inside, then I'm ugly all the way, regardless how beautiful I am on the outside. So I just,
Mm-hmm.
they know how to, I know, well, I'm not going to say that. I was about to say, I know somebody that, but long time, and it's just like, you would never ever think that they would be together, you know what I'm saying? But then once you're around them and you see how they treat each other, then it's like, okay, that's why they're together. It's not always the outer shell that makes you beautiful.
But I think it kind of go back to what Obi might have said too. Like if they're Obi, you all right over there? You
Yeah, I
good?
don't know what happened.
You good, Obi?
Yeah.
No, we family. We all family. Chat, no, we family. There, we family. I think go back to what Obi said too. No, I crack jokes and whatnot. But I be serious sometimes too. Bobby cracking jokes, Bobby serious. Bobby cracking jokes, Bobby serious. If y'all we between the lines. But I think also you said
Saying the
ugly
same thing
people
about
or less attractive people. Let's be less attractive people. I think that they be good to they mate because they might feel like this is it, Michael Jackson. If I don't be good to this person, I might not. I might got lucky. I might won the lottery. So they might be reason why I don't know. I'm not ugly, so I have no idea. I don't date ugly people, so I don't know. But I'm just assuming, taking a guess that maybe they treating that woman or that man really, really well because they might be back to Kyra's question. They might have low self esteem and might not be able to get another person after that person. I don't know. No, it's
Yeah.
kind of interesting though. Maybe Sharika, you can ask your friend that question. Off camera somewhere. Like, so,
Never do that.
huh?
I would never do that. They'd be like, girl, shut up.
And Ed, just to follow up with what you just said, I know I have a couple of guys, well, a couple of my boys who used to date tens, but they date six and sevens now because they're tired of the toxicity that the tens bring to them.
Mm,
like that.
that's deep. I don't know if I'm gonna go to a six, but that's deep, Obi. Though that is deep, though. That makes a lot of. Well, it'll make, yeah, I guess it make. I don't know. I ain't dropping to no six. I'll find it because there's a lot of people in this world. Though. Come on, y'all. We got two beautiful women right now on the screen. So I'm not going to say I'm not dating any more nines and tens because they are all toxic. Every woman that's a beautiful woman is not toxic, and
I agree with you.
every big person is not trying to. No, I'm saying everybody's not everything. So I'm not going to just lower what I like because I'm like, well, I can't find nobody. It's someone out there. You just got to do vetting. And speaking of vetting, y'all, remember if y'all want to date Ed, Kyra gonna be vetting y'all. It's still out there. We've
How
trying
you
to
gonna
find Ed a new mate.
how you gonna
Please.
plug yourself, bro? You can't plug yourself.
I got another question.
I'm gonna hit the comments before you do your
Okay, go
question.
ahead.
Okay. So one person said self-esteem is a you problem. Get some wins under your belt, gain some confidence, and get yourself in order.
Totally
Another
agree.
person
Ooh.
said people too often look for their holes to be filled by other people instead of seeking healing before starting a relationship. I like that. Men don't have the luxury to not know any better. Figure it out. Figure it out. No excuse. I'll
Hey,
read it
can you read that one again, Kyra?
about the figuring it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Men don't have the luxury to not know any better. Figure it out. There's a YF, but I don't know what that
That probably was
means.
an accident.
No excuses. Huh?
That probably just an accident. Figured it out. No
Oh,
excuses.
or maybe, yeah. Yeah. Self-esteem is esteem of yourself. How can I mess up how you feel about you? Cat Williams. A quote from Cat Williams. And then I'll read two more. A lot of people feel that there isn't better out there than their situation. Mind manipulation is also a thing when someone makes you feel that you will never find better and you start to believe it. Yes. And then lastly, self-esteem definitely plays a part in people staying in a relationship, not just based on looks, but not feeling worthy of love.
I can agree with the person that said people probably figure like there's nothing else out there. So that they say the grass is not always what greener on the other side or whatever that statement is. I guess I can see people saying that. I don't believe that, but I can understand what people might think. Like I might leave. That's like a job, right? You might try to leave this job and think you'll get a better job, but like, oh, then you quit, and then you got a worse job. Like, God, dog, I should have stayed with God. But like me, I've been thinking I should stay with TSA, man. Why did I go to Frito Lay? I had the weekends off and everything. Why did I leave? So I can understand that absolutely. Sharika, like you about to say something? Would you about to say something? Oh, okay.
No, I was just listening.
Again, y'all, the calling line is on. The calling line is open. I know our good buddy always call in with some great stuff to say. Gonna call in 704-891-9560. Kyra said, I like that young man to call in. He speaks so well and have so deep. Now you're in the comments. I don't want to say your name, but you know who we are.
You know who you are, young
Oh,
Is that the
man.
same guy that's always
704.
Team Kyra? Is that the same guy that's Team Kyra?
Always Team Kyra. He's always
Oh my
Team Kyra.
God.
Always when he calls in.
Don't call in. I don't know who you are, but don't call in.
Life.
So the calling number, the call in line is open 704-891-9560. A lot of y'all in the chat. So right now we should have about 20 likes because it's free. Click the like button. All right. So another question, guys and girls. Why did you or why do you think people look past the obvious red flags in the beginning of the relationship?
Just to have somebody. Me in the past, I've looked past some red flags just to be in a situation. I don't do that no more, but I used to. But it depends on the person, what they're looking for, what they can tolerate. I can't tolerate what I used to back in the day.
Mm-hmm. I think nowadays with social media presence, it can be challenging to be by yourself because sometimes you're looking at the posts and people are going to Europe and Jamaica and they got beach posts and date night posts and all these different things, even though a picture can be very deceptive because a person can have the best pictures, but they barely even spoke to each other on said trip, or their relationship is so unhealthy, or either or both of them are cheating on each other's. But I think that like social media society plays a little bit into people accepting warning signs or ignoring red flags, because it's sometimes I think people are kind of groomed to think, well, it's better for me to have somebody than to not have someone and be by myself. But my thought is that I can do bad all by myself. And so I'll just be by myself instead of put up with some shenanigans. I'm good.
Sometimes it's more physical. You stay with somebody for, physical for sex. You stay for somebody for sex. Sometimes it's that'll keep you there for real. And everything will go right over your head. You're like, oh, this guy's little.
What a little bar. Sheena, where you at, Sheena? That was a bar right there, boy. Sheena hit it with the bar.
Great point. That is a great point.
That was a good point. I was about to say the same thing. I think I said it last week on the show that you skip little red flag because you don't want to not get in the sack. You don't want to be like, I ain't giving you nothing. You might have said something. Now she don't want to give you no sex for a couple of days, a week, a month, whatever it is. So you ignore the red flags because you want to stay in the sack, if you want to put it like that way without being so over sexualized. So I agree with you, Sharika. Go. And there it went. All right, I'm gonna hit y'all with another question. All right, this is for society. What can society do to better support individuals who are stuck in unhealthy or abusive relationships? Again, what can society do to better support individuals who are stuck in unhealthy or abusive relationships?
I think society can provide resources and that people can talk about it. Like we're having this conversation right now, bringing it up so it's on people's minds so that they know what it looks like, what it sounds like. Was I frozen?
Me, Obi looking like is she ventriloquist?
Could you hear what I said?
Yes. Sorry. That's what I'm looking like. Obi said, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kyra. I apologize. Hey, y'all, we family. This is what we do. Y'all know we act silly sometimes. Okay.
Right. So talking about it, being comfortable talking about it, having conversations with your girlfriends or with your parents, and being able to have difficult discussions, because sometimes your girlfriend might come to you and be like, well, this is happening, instead of just like, being able to say like, well, that sounds like it could be unhealthy, or how does that make you feel, or have you all tried counseling, or taking advantage of resources, talking about it, and then calling things out and helping people leave. Not necessarily going and pack up their stuff, but it could be physical help, it could be mental help, it could be spiritual help. Those are my answers.
I want to answer my own question. I think society should show more things on TV. Think about it. All the stuff we see, the chick flicks and all this, it's always drama. Always some drama. Like some, I don't want to say who be writing these drama movies. I don't want to put them, but there always some. It always got to be some drama. So maybe we show more loving relationships, more healthy relationships. Even though some of these movies have a backstory, have a point, and go full circle, but still, it's more negativity on these Netflix movies. These what is it? Tubi movies, and all these movies. There'd be a lot of drama. So we're seeing all this negativity, and it's getting to. If you have a weak mind, I always think I have a strong mind, so I don't get influenced easy, like I said last week. But people might see this stuff and be like, that's me, and then they wallow in their pity even more because they seeing what the TV program is showing them. And even though it's a TV program, there's still, it's like so much negativity. It should be more, they don't have to be the Cosby Show, but even though the Cosby Show was good, but it could still be more positive reinforcements on the TV that we watch, positive outcomes. Even though positive sometimes can be boring and everybody like the drama, but that's what society can do to help just have more positivity on TV.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of commercials for people like that need mental health help and people that are depressed, and we'll show this commercial. I've seen it on Instagram, Facebook. I forgot the other thing, but I think it's a lot of it out there. I think we as a society, we need to do more, because when we see our brothers and sisters down, we need to go to them and say, hey, if you need some help, you good? Hey, what's up, man? You all right? I think we need to do more. Plus, I think we need to take a look at ourselves and say, hey, I need to go get some help. I know what I've been through. I know what I've suffered. Let me go speak to somebody. Let me reach out to Ed or Kyra or Sharika and say, hey, you mind talking to me for a second?
Reach out to me. I'll say, toughen up, Buttercup.
I think that TV is kind of normalizing toxic relationships, especially with reality TV, and not even necessarily like partner relationships with like a girlfriend or a boyfriend, but just friendships and stuff. Like there's different shows where 1 minute they're throwing people's stuff in the pool. The next minute they're having brunch. 3 days later, they're calling the other person a B and added their name. Then 2 other people are talking about the third person. And then 5 days later on a blue moon, everybody's going to brunch again and sipping on mimosas. And so it just seems so normal, or so-and-so cheated on their baby mama and had a celebrity baby with this person, that person, and that person, and they're still together, 4 kids, and 28 cheats later.
Right. I agree with you, Ed. I agree. We have to like show more positive things. But I know a lot of times it doesn't matter. Like if somebody wants to stay, they're going to stay regardless what you say. At times you could sit up there and like the family would be like, well, this is going on, and this is not right. And then you'll be mad at the family, and then you'll go to that person. And, like once you're with that person, so I think basically just, I guess, educate people more on, mental health and stuff like that.
What do you mean? What do you mean by you be mad at the family?
Oh no, how like like say you and your wife, you and your significant other got into it, and then you go tell the family like, oh yeah, we got into this, this happened. You tell your side of the story, and then like when it comes back to when you guys are back together, everybody's mad at the other person. They're mad at the person, your significant other. So, I mean, like a lot of times, you kind of have to pick and choose what you tell people.
You shouldn't tell them nothing. You shouldn't tell them nothing, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're right. That's what I do. But I'm just saying, like if somebody sees like something going on in your life and they're like, hey, I see that this is going on and that's going on, you know, and you sit up there and tell them, well, he's doing this, 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 and that. And then, like I said, they're going to be mad at that person. But you are right. I choose not to say it. I choose to keep everything in the house. That's what I choose.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because everybody has an opinion, but would you do the same thing if you were in that same situation?
Exactly.
You know, it's easy to say what you would do, but would you do that if you were in that situation?
And see, I try to be real transparent a lot because one, I'm hoping things that happen to me in marriages and friendships and how overcoming can help overcame them can help someone else. So that's why I'm like really open and honest, even on this show. And one day I'm gonna tell you my whole story. Maybe have Kyra or one of our producers interview me and say my whole story what happened in my marriage, and maybe it can help someone else. But that's one of the reasons I be transparent. Than the other one, because I just tell the truth. I don't care. Like nobody can shun me. I don't care what nobody thinks. I'm gonna tell my story. I'm gonna tell my they say my truth, and I don't care nobody. We live in a judgmental world, so people gonna judge you regardless. So I don't care. So that's the reason why I would share. But the main reason is hopefully I might say something. That Obi might sit there and say, "Man," and Obi might call me on side note like, "Man, that happened to me," or I know somebody that went through. Like, how did you overcome that? So yeah, in the sense, like I get it, not telling everybody your business, but sometimes I share so maybe it can just help other people. But if you're gonna break up with somebody and you're gonna talk trash to them about them to your family, don't get back with them because now your family gonna look at them sideways, and that's gonna be a big mess. So I agree 100% with y'all. Kyrie, you want to jump into them comments?
Yeah. Person said this is back a little bit, but they would never jump back 4 slots. I would never drop 4 slots for anything. I'll find a 10 on my program first. Another person said people think it would get better or they can change that person. I think that was tied into why people stay. Companionship and attention will have you in Delu Lane. Team Ed, friends and twins. This drama and fantasy she is counterproductive. Another person said, I agree with Ed, more positive love stories on TV. And then lastly, be mindful of who you speak to always. Some people just want to be nosy and wishing on y'all downfall.
Ooh, come on, producer. That's a bar too. Hit that with that bar. That was a bar. That, that was good. Hey, again, the calling line is open. Where y'all at? Call in, call in. It's open 704-891-9560. Call in. We want to hear from y'all. Y'all live in the chat. We see y'all going at it. So call in. But we're gonna go with another question because we ain't gonna be here all night, y'all. So
I got a quick question.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Look at Obi, Kyra stepping up.
I think taking a sip was an unsaid statement.
Yeah, it was. It was. Hey, who do you think stays in situations where they should leave first more? You think men stay more? Or you think it's women?
I feel like more women stay because of the man to woman ratio.
I want to say that too, but I think men stay, but men they start cheating. So they stay, but they be cheating. Women stay and they still be loyal. I think.
Good point, Ed.
Because a guy would stay, but he out there with seven sluts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
the woman, she faithful. Getting her, like Sarika said earlier, getting her face beat in, but she's staying. And faithful staying. Ain't cheating nothing.
Yeah. When men check out, it's a wrap. They'll stay, but they checked out.
I think women stay. Because we're more emotional. We're more emotional and we're more nurturing. So it's like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay, baby. He's going to come. You know what I'm saying? Or it's going to be okay.
Through this.
Yeah.
A person in the chat said men stay more.
I wish we could pull some stats on that really quick. I wish we could.
Producer in the
The
background,
person
can
in
you
the
pull up
chat
a
said the
stat for me?
stats don't agree with women staying more.
Hold on, y'all. Hey, producers in the background, are you able to pull up a stat for us and send it to my phone, please, if you can? Who you think stay, or not who you think? What's the stats of the CDC that stays more? Please and thank you, sir.
And another person said, women for sure stay, but however, we will leave mentally and emotionally before we leave physically. I can definitely attest to that comment.
Yes, it's so true.
You got a personal testimony on that, Carla?
Yeah, because sometimes it's like you're trying to be nice, you're trying to be there for that person. At the end of the day, love is love, and you still love that person. Or I can say, I've still loved that person, even though I don't love their actions or how they've made me feel. But like physically, no. Emotionally, no. I'm not even pouring into you anymore because, well, I can't say I'm not pouring into you, because I think that when you love someone, you still do kind of pour into them. But like creating that barrier and that wall, and just like having enough, a person gets to a certain point, and it's just, a woman can get to a certain point, and it's just done. Or I have been in a situation where I stayed in the same house as somebody, but at the end of the day, it's like, you live your life, I'll live mine. We are just currently staying under the same roof, different rooms and everything like that.
I heard a female tell me that before, like that they, not with me, but they said that they do not physically, mentally check out. And then I'd be like, why are you staying then? Like, I wish I can get those people on the show. They're like, why are you still there if you already mentally checked out? So I'm just pretty interesting. Oh, I got a stats, y'all.
Sometimes it's
I got
love.
stats.
You
Oh, go
still
ahead.
love that person.
So I got the stats right here. Study shows that 80% of women file for divorce. Men stay way longer.
I knew it.
Wow. 80% of women file for divorce. Men stay way longer. I guess that is kind of true. In my situation, she did file for divorce first.
But you did, like you said, the men are doing all kinds of other stuff, like they got here that men are doing all kinds of other stuff. So of course, if you could have your cake and eat it too, of course you're gonna stay.
Sure, we didn't ask for that stat.
Shout out to the producers in the back, though. They be on it quick. Shout out to the producers in the back.
Truth is the truth, and she gonna speak it.
We didn't ask for that stat.
Again, shout out to the producers in the back. Y'all was quick with it. Good. We're gonna move on because we got about 20 minutes left. We're gonna move on. So, how does a history? Oh, you got another question? I thought you had your hand up. I'm saying, open on fire. Go ahead. Oh, you got another one? Go ahead. I love it. No? Oh, okay. Sharika, you got a question you want to throw out there? You can throw a question. You hear one?
Not yet.
How does a history of childhood drama or abuse influence someone's decision to remain in an unhealthy adult relationship? Again, how does a history of childhood trauma or abuse influence someone's decision to remain in unhealthy adult relationships? Yeah.
I think if you saw your mom or your dad go through something and they stuck in it, I think you're probably mentally prepared to stick with it too. That might not be a popular answer, but if you witnessed trauma, domestic violence, mental abuse, there's probably a good chance that you might stay in that for some odd reason.
Yeah,
just
because it's normal.
I think it ties into generational curses. And like an example of that is my grandfather was married to my grandmother. They had 6 kids, In addition to those 6 kids, he had 6 kids with somebody else. And then ended up, when he got divorced from my grandmother, he married somebody completely different. And then most of his kids, there were most of the men that I'm aware of were not faithful to their wives. And then the daughters were in relationships with men that were also cheating on them. And then that goes down to like mom and then granddaughters. And so people do what is modeled for them, especially if there's taboo items and things that aren't talked about, so that a person can say, learn from my mistakes, do better than I did. Back in the day, I did accept this. However, you don't need to. It's not okay. That's not the standard. Have a higher standard and have those conversations with people in your family and learn from your past.
Okay, what's he talking about in the chat?
In the chat, we have people saying, excuse me, if you leave mentally and emotionally, then you have essentially left already. Another person says, what about staying and being faithful? If you're cheating, then you're not really staying, are you? A man can stay in the house because they feel like the woman's is their possession. And then another person said, it didn't have any influence on me to stay. When I experienced in my relationship, he had to go. And one of the things, another person said, y'all got to learn to be curse breakers. If I did what my father did, my children wouldn't be as well off as they are today. You know how it made you feel. Do different. And then I think that sometimes people can stay because, because of financial ties that they have and because of lifestyles that they might be accustomed to living. So there might be a situation where people bought a house together and they can't afford to buy the other person out, or they have this level of living that they're used to, or it could be that the man is cheating, but at the same time, he's paying all the bills and taking care of everything, and you might not have to work, or you have this luxurious lifestyle that you don't want to give up, and so you just accept it.
I agree. I think Sharika froze. I don't know if she come back on. I think she froze for a second. But we're gonna move on along. I agree with that, Kyra. So why do some people prioritize the emotion? Why do some people prioritize the emotional needs of their partner over their own well-being in a toxic relationship? Again, why do some people prioritize the emotional needs of their partner over their own well-being in a toxic relationship?
You want to take that, Obi?
Yeah, for me, it's a simple and short answer. Because you don't give a damn about yourself. You want to make sure that your significant other is happy. When I was married, I didn't care about my feelings. I didn't care about like my emotional intelligence or emotional well-being. I wanted to make sure she was okay. Because if she was okay, I knew that everything else was going to be okay. And I'm not saying that to say happy wife, happy life. I'm just saying as long as my spouse was good or my significant other girlfriend was good, I was good, even if I wasn't. And
I can't stand that saying.
mental health and therapy, it wasn't a big deal back then as it is now. Now I care about me, and I'm coming first. Well, God coming first, then I'm coming, then we coming.
Number one.
Were you going to say something, Ed? Or you were just putting up number one?
No, I was saying that I can't stand the happy life, happy wife saying, and I was saying I am number one. Two is not a woman, and three nobody remember because Opie said he number one.
Guess that's a song?
Yeah,
Question
Nelly.
mark?
Shout out to Nelly.
I think that there are some people like myself, and I've done this in the past. I am like a giving person, and very emotional, and I don't want to, even though I'm mad or frustrated, I've kind of changed a little bit over the years. But back in the day, it used to be just constantly kill them with kindness, constantly kill them with kindness, even though I'm not being treated the best, still be nice to them, still treat them how I would want to be treated, or like just not allowing myself to go out of character for how someone, even though someone isn't treating me the best. But nowadays, it's easier for me to just stop doing everything and not pour into somebody that's not pouring into me, which is kind of tit for tat, but I've become tit for tat emotionally at the end of the day. Because I've tried being forgiven, I've tried turning the other cheek, I've tried giving grace and mercy and all that stuff, and the person just continues to do what they do. And so, like, eventually it has to end, and you have to stand up for yourself.
I think I kind of agree with I think what Kyra just said. I think people are givers, so they're ready to put somebody else before they put themselves. So yeah, they don't want they might have fear of being lonely, but also they just givers. They give somebody they last. They pour all everything. People do it, especially women do it more than men. Unfortunately, I believe they pour everything into a man or everything into whoever, and lack they like, why you got them bags in your eyes? They losing sleep, or they not taking care of themselves because they're pouring so much into other people. And so it goes
Mhm.
back even with the relationship. You know, she don't have to be an ugly woman or anything or unattractive person. She just pours so much into that man, into those children, and she putting them first, and she just prioritizing them first. Guys, we're not so much going to prioritize anyone before ourselves because we kind of selfish beings a little bit. We're gonna put ourselves first, and then once a woman beat us over the head 1,000 times, like, oh well, I should be prioritizing her a little bit more than what I'm doing. So I think that's just the reason why people do it. Is because like women, they're just natural givers, and then with the guys that do it, it may go back to um cheaper to keep her. Obi, I know you heard that before, or it might go back to he paying to play. And I'm not even talking about sexually. I'm talking about somebody he's literally paying to be with this woman.
Mhm.
You know, and oh, we talked about that too earlier. That might be a
Mhm.
reason somebody literally paying to stay with that person. So
Mhm.
those might be two reasons why they prioritize the other person over themselves. I think, in my opinion. So we're gonna try to dive. We're gonna hit the comments one more time, and we're gonna try to dive into Kyle. I'm gonna let you find the one. I'm gonna let you do the last question, Kyle. Find one more good one, but dive into the comments. This is our last opportunity, guys, to call in 704-891-9560. Again, 704-891-9560. Phone lines are open. Click the like button right now. Everybody take a moment out and click that like button. Do it for us. We're trying to make sure we have more great content for you guys. We're trying to make sure we don't get canceled. We need you guys to click that like button, share these videos, and subscribe. We almost there. We're about at one. I think we have maybe 176 of subscribers. So click that like button, share, and subscribe. Kyra about to read some of these comments, and then she gonna have the last question. Unless Obi have another one. Obi, if you have another one while she reading her last one is good. If not, then that would be our show. Go ahead, Kyra. It's
All
on
right,
you.
I'm gonna hit the comments. Exactly, Obi. Sometimes being a people pleaser will deplete you if you're not getting your cup refilled as well. Another person said, "Team Kyra." It was starred, so I had to read it. Another person said, "I got to
Wait,
put
what
my,
happened? I missed
you
it. I'm
know."
sorry. Say that again.
Team Kyra was a starred comment that I had to read. Um, I got to put my oxygen on before I save you. I like that. Happy spouse, happy house. And another person said that's straight facts. The house runs better when I'm happy. And so my last question for the night.
I got a question. I got a question. I got a
Oh,
question.
let's go.
How many people do you pay every week to say Team Kyra?
I
How many
don't
people?
pay anyone.
How many
I'm
people?
consistent. I think I have good information and people agree with my thoughts and my
These are
perspective of
guys. These are
things.
guys that
I
are saying
think I'm
Team
able
Kyra.
to articulate the love that I have for them in the chat by saying Team Kyra. So my question for you would be, when are you going to pay someone if you think that's what's being done, or get some of your family members or cousins or coworkers or anything else you've accused me of doing? When are you going to shift and pivot so that someone will say Team Obi?
I'm not paying nobody to say Team Obi. I'm not.
I don't need to pay anybody.
You doing something. Your cousins, co-workers, or something. You doing something.
Jealous. All right. Last question is, because I think this happens a lot. That's like I feel like it's a buzzword a lot of people are using. Let me just find my question. Okay. How does manipulation or gaslighting by a partner contribute to someone staying in an unhealthy relationship? How does manipulation or gaslighting by a partner contribute to someone staying in an unhealthy relationship?
Faking the funk. I pretty much believe that they lying to you. They act like it's one way, but it's not. You're just living your whole relationship might be a lie. You're thinking like, oh, this man is so great. He doing this, doing that. He got a whole. I've heard people have a whole other families. I think a young lady came over here on the show one time and said she would date somebody here, a whole other family. I'm like, what? How is that even possible? And so I think they be gassing people up or gaslighting by just lying to them, telling them. And we do a lot, guys. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna give y'all a cheat code a little bit. Sometimes we tell y'all what y'all want to hear. It'll be the truth. Sometimes, not all of us, especially when we was younger. Nowadays, I'm too old. I'm just gonna say what I want, and then you're gonna like me or not. But sometimes back in the day, or we'll tell you what you want just to shut you up. So I think that's what people do. Sometimes they tell people what they want to hear, and you go, that's gaslighting you up. That's puppet mastering you, but it's not even the truth. You living in a fantasy world.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ed. I think self-esteem plays a part in that too, and I think narcissism plays a part in it also. Just a quick answer for me.
Yeah.
What about you, Kyra? You want to take a stab at that question?
To me, it's challenging because I've been in a situation where someone is blaming me for something that I didn't do, and it's something that they did. And they're not taking accountability for their actions or ownership. They're not trying to fix the problem. They're trying to constantly be the victim, constantly point the finger, constantly not trying to
Hold
take
on.
steps or actions to change. And it's like absolutely frustrating and very hurtful to know that somebody that I'm pouring into is doing all of those things and just not keeping it real and wants to blame me for something that I'm not doing and make it seem like I'm crazy. You got a
Wow.
call in?
Yes, so we have a caller. Like always, are you team Obi or team
It's not
Kyra?
going to be you, Obi.
Hey,
It's not
hey,
gonna
how y'all doing? I am Team Kyra, 100%.
Okay, caller, what you got for the night?
All right, first off, a couple things. First of all, what y'all talking about right now, I think is phenomenal, and a lot of people need to understand a bit more. In my personal opinion, I know y'all hit up a couple points when y'all began talking about DV, talking about domestic violence and stuff like that. Why do people stay or get into like relationships like that? Statistically speaking, 34% of the people who were abused have witnessed it as a child. Another 11%, I guess, did not witness it as a child. So, from what I'm understanding, if they witnessed it as a child, they are very possible. It's very possible that they can become either the abuser or the abused in their, future relationships as adults. But at the same time, I also think that if we, and this is why I express to a lot of people, learn to be single for a little bit. When I say single, I mean not married, date and stuff like that. Learn yourself, but at the same time, don't rush into marriage simply because you don't know who you are before you partner yourself with someone else. And once you rush into that, that's when the problems become like, hey, I don't like you, is because you never learned out who you was to begin with before you went and partnered with somebody else. So going into what Obi said, and I'm going to pay Obi a compliment right now. He spoke about mental health initially, right? When he started talking about mental health and how we need to bring it back, not bring it back, highlight it into like TV and stuff like that. I know, Ed, you said positive role models and all of that stuff, but I agree. Mental health is huge. You need to unlearn bad behavior and then learn more positive behavior and how you interact with people. All right. And I'm going to get off right here. I would ask, what capacity, right? Because I know you also said be careful about sharing too much information when you're dealing with in a relationship. But at what point do you go outside and seek wise counsel for the relationship if it's not going right? And what are we talking? Are we talking like a marriage counselor? Or are we talking like a legitimately trusted person who can actually be objective and tell you that you're wrong in this scenario?
Hey, caller, I want to ask you a quick question. When you don't come on the show? You call in a lot. When you don't come on and sit on the panel with us? Putting you on the hot seat. Putting you on the hot seat, brother.
I don't know, man. I'll probably come on soon. I'm just settling down to where I am, so I'll probably come on soon.
Are we gonna hold you to the fire? Because I know who you are. They don't know. I know who you are. I know your mama. All right, thank you, caller, for your call. You always have such good insight. Thank you.
All right, thank y'all.
Yeah.
I'll take a quick stab at answering this question. I think for me, he spoke of wise counsel. You have to go to somebody that's wise. Go to a licensed professional. Go to a reputable pastor. Don't go to your boys or your girls that you hang out with and talk to every day, because they're not going to give you the information that you need. They're going to tell you what they want you to do, not what you want to do. And I appreciate that caller too, because he was spitting some fire.
Obi, we all can answer back to the caller. Obi, can you give your insight of the whole show as a whole? What do you thought about tonight? And then Kyra go to Nago.
I think it was a great show. Me and Kyra did well until the end of the show. I was going to say, hey, this is the first show we didn't go at it, but at the very last second we did. But great show, great panelists. As always, the chat line is always booming. Can't wait to see what we talk about next week. Oh yeah, and the dating show. We want to get the dating show on and popping. So if you want to come on the dating show, please reach out to Sheena Nicole or reach out to Evan Chapman.
The Datum Addiction. Kyra,
and somebody said Team Obi.
Oh, I see that. It is a Team Obi.
Let me
what the horns at? What the horns at?
Hey. Thank you. It's been about 6 months since I got that.
Did he catch up you, Joshua?
Oh,
Kyra, what do you think about the caller? And then what do you think about the show?
I love the insights, appreciate the statistics. Definitely always love listening to that person call in and comment in the chat. To answer the question in terms of who you should go to, I agree with Obi in that it should be like a licensed professional that can have an unbiased, that can listen to you and not be biased. Because there's some people, if it's your dad or your preacher, some people know you and they may not have the ability to give that unbiased recommendation, or they may not have the ability to have a challenging conversation with you, or an uneasy conversation, or to tell you about yourself. But if you go to someone that is completely removed from the situation, even though they still would be having like one perspective of the story that you're telling them, they may be able to share some insight of recommendations that have worked for other people in the past, because that is something that they are the subject matter expert in. And then in terms of the show, I think that the topic was amazing. I always enjoy how engaging the chat is in terms of being vulnerable and being transparent, sharing what your truths are, what you've learned, and how we can learn from each other as a community together. And I think that we just need to continue to have these conversations and lift them up and lift each other up, so that we can pour into each other to know that we don't need to be cheated on or abused. There needs to be standards that we live up to and have people live up to that are in relationships with us, and that we deserve the best. So thank you for everyone that participated. Our panelist, we lost her, but she had some really great insight. And so I thought it was a great show.
Thank you, Kyra. So I think I'm looking at it different from what the caller said, or how the caller said. Most times we don't know we're in the terrible relationship until we got out of it. Like, man, that was a bad relationship. Not all the time. Sometimes you might not realize it. So you might not go to a wise counselor. You might not go to counseling or a preacher or whoever, because you might not even realize in your brain, because you be programmed and not even know that we're in a bad situation until you get out of that situation and look back on it. Like, I'm sure, Obi, you say you've been divorced, Obi.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you look back, you can name 1,000 things now that you didn't name then.
Yeah,
I can do the
definitely.
same thing. I can name so many, and I'm sure Kyra, so many stuff now that when I was in there, I would have didn't see, like cuff the comfort. I didn't think about that till afterwards, and I watched the series like, that was me. So that's kind of tough when you say, when he said, when do you realize to go to a professional? Well, if you don't know you need a professional, that's the tough part. Then that's when you have to have friends that's not scared to step on your toe and be transparent. You're like, hey, Ed, listen, bro, I'll never lie to you. Like Chad says, I say I lie for you before I lie to you. That's what Chad also single say. And they say like, hey, I think right now you're not in a very good situation. I'm looking at it from the outside in, and I think you need to seek counseling. I think you and your husband need to, But other than that, I think sometimes we might be blinded by whatever and might not necessarily see it. That's just my thought process on that. And I think tonight's show was amazing. I think we had this is a great topic. We had a couple other guests. Unfortunately, some couldn't come on for various reasons. I want to do a part two to this only if we can get people to come on and share their story of them being in toxic relationships and how they noticed it and how they got out. So if someone's out there and actually been in a toxic relationship and how you overcame it, that's the only way we'll do a part two. So you can hit us up, Tashina Nicole or myself, Edmund Chapman, and we can discuss that. Next week, y'all, it won't be no Team Kyra next week. So I'm just letting y'all know.
It can still be Team Kyra even though I'm not here.
I was trying to hope you, Obi. Next week's topic is oh my God, what is next week's topic? Oh, it's child support bias. Next week we're gonna talk about child support bias. That should be a good one because some ladies might say no and some guys might say yeah. So next week we're gonna talk about child support bias. So if you'd like to be on the panel, you can reach out to Tashina Nicole on Facebook or Edmund Chapman on Facebook, or you can email me at eddyed30@gmail.com. Also, again, we are looking for sponsors. If you would like to sponsor this podcast, or you want us to advertise your merchandise, advertise your business, you can reach out to us at Tashina Nicole on Facebook, or again, myself, Edmund Chapman, on Facebook, or email me at eddieed30@gmail.com. Obi, I already talked about the date of Ditchum. Obi, I reached out to 2 people. We're gonna have a date coming up. I reached out to them. They're gonna come in. We'll have a date going, Obi. So we got that. We'll
Cool.
set that up.
Great
But
news.
Datum Ditchum's coming out again. And our very own Angel Morris is gonna be hosting it. So if you'd like to be on Datum Ditchum, come on through. And that's it for tonight. I think I made all the announcements. Well, like I like to say every single week, I love you. God loves you. Go out and be great on purpose. Peace out.
I think my baby happy. Can speak to any moment. Product to her environment.